from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we turn to its arch rival, the Islamic Republic of Iran. The fire of dissent is spreading there, so much so that it has also engulfed Khamenei's own family. The sister of Iran's supreme leader is up in arms against his regime's policies. She has slammed Khamenei's quote-unquote despotic rule and has thrown her support behind the ongoing protests. Who exactly is she? Her name is Badri Hosseini Khamenei. We told you about her yesterday, how she has slammed the Iranian regime and penned a scathing public letter. 24 hours on, that letter is going viral. It has turned into a big flashpoint of this anti-government movement. But despite this, the regime's crackdown has only intensified. We'll get there in a bit. First, I want to talk about the person behind this letter, Badri Hosseini Khamenei. She is one of Khamenei's 4 sisters and the widow of dissident cleric Ali Tehrani. For the unversed, Tehrani was a famous theologian in Iran who opposed the way the regime functioned. So much so that he fled Iran in 1984. Badri Hosseini joined him and they both relocated to Iraq. From there, they preached against the Islamic Republic and the cruelties that it inflicts on the Iranian people. And then in 1995, Badri Hosseini returned to Iran, but to this day, she remains estranged from her brother, so do her children. In fact, just a few days back, her daughter, Farideh Moradkhani, triggered a firestorm in the country when she released a video of herself calling the dispensation in Iran a quote-unquote murderous and child-killing regime. And now her mother has penned a letter slamming the tyranny of her brother's rule. Now the question is, have these developments changed anything? Has Khamenei's family been able to change his mind? And the answer is no. Have a look at this headline. Iran has executed the first prisoner who was convicted for an alleged crime in the ongoing nationwide protests. His name was Mohsen Shakari, a 23-year-old Iranian citizen. And what crime did he commit? Well, that depends on who you ask. The activists say Mohsen's only crime was protesting for his rights. But the regime says he apparently blocked a street in Iran and tried attacking a security official. And that's not all. Iran's state-controlled Mizan news agency says that Mohsen was apparently bribed to do this. Bribed by whom? This the news agency did not say. In any case, Mohsen was charged with waging a war against God, a crime that's punishable by death under Iran's Islamic Sharia law. Now here's the thing. For the last 3 months, Iran has put many protesters behind bars for similar reasons, but it hasn't provided any evidence. So there is reason to believe that the charges could be framed and that such cruel punishments could be aimed at driving fear in the hearts and minds of the protesters. Whatever be the motivation, this incident also highlights Iran's affinity towards executions. Mohsen Shakari may be the first protester to have been executed, but he joins a long list of people who have been hanged to death for the smallest of crimes. You see, the country has long been and remains a leading executioner. In fact, it executes more people per capita than any other country. Child offenders, religious dissidents, drug consumers, homosexuals, if caught and found guilty, they all meet the same fate. They are all put to death. Let me show you some numbers now. In 2018, Iran carried out 253 executions. In 2019, it executed 225 people. In 2020, 267 people were executed. And last year, the figure jumped to an all-time high. At least 333 people were put to death. And this marks a 25% surge in the executions. Let me now break down last year's figures for you. Out of the 333 executions, at least 126 were over drug-related charges. Only 55 executions were officially announced. 278 were carried out discreetly. 2 of those executed were juvenile offenders, and 17 of them were women. And I want to highlight 2 cases here. The case of Zehra Ismaili and Mariam Karimi. They both were executed by Iran last year. And do you know what their crime was? Murdering their abusive husbands. I shared this story to give you an idea about how Iran approaches executions. It treats them like any other punishment, irrespective of how debatable the crime is. Mohsen Shakari is just the latest victim of this very approach. And there is no saying if he will be the last. Last we checked, a total of 18,000 protesters have been put behind bars in Iran, 18,000 of them, and that's a huge number. And most of the people in jail face similar charges as Mohsen Shakari. That is, attacking a security official. So with this execution, has Iran signaled a change in its approach? Is it going to carry out more executions? Will other protesters meet the fate of Mohsen Shakari? These are questions we will probably have answers to in the days ahead. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.